what you want, open invitation. I'm a human being infused with creative vibration, utilizing melodies and visual stimulation. Beats and stories get the glory, you get the relation. I get impatient like a doctor racing. Bullets coming from my soul, my body just a casing.
What is up, fam? Welcome to another episode of the Paralyzed Artist Podcast. My name is Daniel Brian Alvarez, and today I have one of the old school homies that we used to do a lot of fucking art selling like a few years back before fucking COVID and all that shit. Welcome the homie Diego Sanchez.
Yo, what's up, man? This is Diego Sanchez, born in Mexico, raised in LA.
Orale.
Photographer, portraits, all that good stuff.
You're a black and white portrait killer.
Black and white, man. That's my shit.
You say you were born in Mexico. Like you, what part of Mexico? Where
City, Mexico City.
Mexico City.
Yeah. My came here when I was like 4 years old. Been here since. Been back, once or twice, but most of the time here in LA.
So you're basically from here.
Yeah.
So you grew up with parents that kind of were raised in Mexico and then came here, or
basically still first generation? Because I'm basically migrated. I'm an immigrant when I got here, so my kids they're my first born here.
So your parents, how did they adapt, like from going from Mexico to here, like as far as like the language and all that? Like were they able to adapt pretty quickly? Like are they English speaking, or are they?
No, man, they Spanish todavía. My Spanish is I speak it a lot, but my Spanish is fluent as fuck. No English. There's no English allowed in the house.
It's crazy how a lot of Latin families do that. Like I've had this conversation with my dad, because my dad has uncles that have been here for 40 years, and they barely talk English. And like if you talk to my dad, he like speaks really clear, like good English. So one of my uncles' wife is always like telling him like, it's so crazy how you're so fluent, and then you're like really good at English, and your uncles that have been here like twice as long as you are still fucking out here just talking Spanish and shit. Like, why do you think that is? Like, why do you think a lot of families don't want to let go of the Spanish and like really like get into like learning like English and the culture and
I think, well, from my experience and with my mom, I don't think they ever really required it. When she got here, she worked in a sewing factory, and most of the people there were they're all Spanish speaking, and I don't think they really even the managers and supervisors they're all Spanish speaking, so I don't think they're really required to learn English. So I don't think they just never learned it. Me, it's just school. You want to make friends, you gotta fucking.
But you didn't. At that age, you probably didn't really struggle a lot. Like how like when you come, like maybe when you're like a teen, and you have to kind of adapt to like the school. So you kind of were basically raised here. Like at 4 years old, you don't really feel none of the heavy stuff that you would get if you had been like going to school and grew up in Mexico. Maybe like come out here when you're like in your teens, like 10, 11, 12. I feel like that's a little bit of a harder adjustment. What the fuck are we talking about, bro?
We're talking about our immigration.
This shit. We're fucking.
But it all kind of comes back, because me myself, when I'm doing now, I was out in Texas, and I was doing when I was out there, I was doing some real estate photos, and then with my brother-in-law, he owns his own construction business, and I saw that they're all come 19, 20, they come to this country to work, and I was like, you know what, man, I think I'm gonna use this for my portfolio. So, I always had my camera with me or my phone, and throughout that whole time that I was working, I was snapping photos and, kind of like giving a little backstory to kind of, their way of life, of like families in Mexico. And then they live here and, they spend, I mean, their life is basically work from sun up to sundown,
Yeah.
Monday through Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and then Sundays is just do like chores and then get ready to get back to it.
For sure.
It's like the whole life, and I kind of want to like get all that. So that's something that I'm actually uh, currently working on
For sure.
with. I thought it was interesting to shoot that. You know.
I actually just saw a series of pictures. Actually, it's a series of pictures of I don't know how they set it up, but it like somebody set up like a camera like on a freeway
Hmm.
overpass, and it's just like trucks passing with like immigrant workers just kind of like sleeping in the back of the truck. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's just literally like hundreds of pictures of just like guys passing and like just regular pickup trucks just
Yeah.
like sleeping in the back, like going or coming back from work. It's like this series of pictures. I don't know
Really?
the name
No,
of
I
the
haven't. I
I don't know
haven't
the name
seen
of the
it.
artist, but it's really interesting. It's like it's literally I think it's from Mexico, and it's like immigrant, like not well, in Mexico they're not
Yeah.
immigrants,
Yeah.
but it's just like
Well,
yeah,
got
like day
Salvadorians
laborers.
and all.
It's just like a series of day laborers like going and coming from work. It's actually pretty interesting. A lot of them are like knocked out, and because it's
Yeah.
like cold too, so they're all covered up and
Yeah,
shit.
man. You should hear some of the stories, man. I always ask questions, and their stories are fucking crazy, man. I
Yeah.
mean, the shit that they go through to get here.
Hmm.
It's tough, man, to fucking to do that, man. Fucking walk for fucking 3-4 days, and then get todo para que they rob you right in the middle of the of your
Yeah.
trip, and you gotta go back, or the immigration gets you, and it's rough, man. Uh, it's rough for them, and I got a chance to meet uh, a lot of cool people,
Mm,
and they let me photograph them, and
for sure.
during work, and then the outside of work, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think those kind of pictures are kind of like the best type of pictures, like pictures where you can get people kind of doing their thing, living their life, where it's kind of like telling a story.
Yeah,
I just had Alper, our homie Alper, in the last episode, and like that's one of the things that I was telling him about his work that I really like. That he captures like he freezes moments in time with people. Like
yeah,
he's really good at catching people kind of like in their natural state,
yeah,
doing what they do in like
yeah,
in an excellent way. It's not
yeah,
like
yeah. No,
corny. It's not just like the regular like homeless guy on the street type stuff.
yeah,
He
yeah.
gets really like pictures that tell stories.
Oh yeah, no, man. His work, his work it's fucking amazing, man. I love his street photography. Uh, Shout out to Alper, man. Fucking if
Fuck
you hearing this, one day we'll meet up in Manila. See what's up. Show us around.
that. Yeah, that should be pretty crazy. So talking about photography, how did you get into photography? Like how did that journey start for you?
Well, it's been like maybe 7 years that I've been doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and man, I just one day I go to the LA River
Yeah.
a lot. It's close to my house,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd go walk, run, and fucking just smoke bud over there at the LA River. And one day I saw this dude. It was such a dope sunset.
Mm-hmm.
One of those sunsets.
Yeah.
Those LA sunsets, and I was shooting it with my phone. It wasn't even a good phone. It was, I was taking a picture of it, and then he had a Nikon, and he had his tripod, and I was like, "Fuck!" I'm like, "What? Can I check out your camera, your picture?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, you fucking." I was like, "Fuck, dude, that shit looks fucking crazy." He was
Nice.
doing a long exposure, so he was getting like some cars, streaks, and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've never seen that before. So it really caught my eye, and I was like, man, that shit looks dope.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was working at a pawn shop. There was this XTI that was like abandoned at the bottom of the electronics, and I was like, the next day I saw it there. You know, it probably I had been working there for a while. It was I didn't even notice it, and I saw it, and I told the guys, I was like, hey man, I'm gonna buy this. Oh, I bought this Rebel camera, and the rest is history, man. I started shooting. I got really into it. You know, uh, I started doing landscapes.
Okay.
You know, and I've shot the shittiest landscapes with that camera.
You gotta start somewhere, man.
But just you know, the I had never um got into something so deep and interested, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to learn everything that I could about that camera
Yeah.
and photography, and you know, everything that had to do with that format. You know, so
Yeah.
I learned as much as I could, and then eventually I got into portraits. You know, shooting people, and lights, strobes really interested me a lot, man. So I started shooting people, and I shot the shittiest portraits when I jumped from, from the landscape over to portraits. It was, I mean, they were, you know, the lighting was shitty, and you know, but I started learning more about light and you know all that, and I started picking up a lot of people's, uh, checking out people's work. Like one of my favorite portrait photographers. His name is Albert Watson. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Uh, he's shot everything from like fashion to like movie posters and album covers, and you know. But there was this photo that I think it was just on IG once. I was scrolling, and somebody had posted a photo of Tupac, the you know that famous one with he did with Juice, where he's with the gun,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he shot that series of those photos. I think he even did the movie poster,
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're
and
talking about
yeah,
now. He's
and
like
I just fell in love with the lighting, the just what he brought out. You know, I mean, plus you know, Tupac was dope at taking those photos. You know,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
that's how I got into portraits with, you know.
That's crazy. Yeah, he's a black guy, isn't he? He's like a
No, he's from Scotland. He's it's a trip. He's from Scotland, and he actually has one working eye only.
really.
Like yeah.
Oh, and I'm confusing him with another guy, but I do know who you're talking about. He has a bunch of known like
Yeah,
portraits, like celebrity, like
yeah.
old school. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He has that one I collect books of like photographers that I like,
Mm-hmm.
and I own a few of him, and one really good one. If you ever get a chance, I'll bring it by. One of these days, it's he called it Cyclops, I guess, because of his only one working eye.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And dude, it's just like, man, that's all that man ever needed. It was just one working eye, because it's fucking amazing fucking work.
That's actually interesting because I'm sure that aspect of it that he is just using one eye does
Just
do
changes,
something
yeah.
different to his pictures. Just the way that like that's something that I acknowledge in myself and my teacher because I took photography courses. That's one thing that he kind of like told us about our shooting is that because we're at a different angle, you know, most people are standing when they're shooting.
Yeah,
I'm shooting at a lower angle because of my situation.
yeah,
And that my teacher was like, that alone is enough to kind of maybe make your pictures just a little different than the average person. So
yeah.
I'm sure that he sees and does something that, you know, like
Oh
the
yeah,
average
the
to
light,
seeing
you
eye
know,
person.
the light, how he probably sees it, you know, it's probably the shadows and all that. Like, cause I mean, you see this shit and it's like, fuck, dude, how do you? And then you know, I'm a big fan because most of his famous portraits, he only in several occasions he only used like one light. It's a one light setup. You know, and I thought I was like, fuck. I mean, that shit's. I mean, you gotta be fucking really good. You know, so that's how I began. I had one light, actually a flash. It was like a shitty Canon flash. Yeah, batteries. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just started using that in like an umbrella, and you know you work your way from that. You know you do that, you get better, and then I started adding a little bit more light, and then you know also meeting other photographers that you know can give you tips because I'm always even now you know I'm always open to ideas and tips, and you know I'm not you know closed that you know oh it's only my way, my shit. Like, I'm always open to tips and ideas. You know.
For sure. It's the only way to improve, man. To
Yeah.
like, you know, find other people that are doing things that you like and kind of like, how the fuck you doing that? You know, it's like how you learn it and being around other like creative people that for sure you need that. That's actually one of the things that I had. Like, I kind of had like this little list of questions that I'm not even using, but that was one of the things that I wanted to ask. Like, if there was like photographers that you kind of like, whether got mentored or just like found their work, and obviously you just mentioned one of them, but like any other ones that
yeah, man. I mean, if we talk about like landscapes, I like you know that famous one, Hansel.
Ansel Adams.
Yeah, Hansel
That's
Adams.
like
And his shit, you know, I really dig his shit because you know, because most of his stuff, like people would look at it as just a shot of like a bunch of most people would dismiss it, you know, and be like, oh, it's just a shot of Yosemite or something. But I see it like, man, at that time he was using like a fucking, like a big ass fucking old school camera. He was like shooting this like one picture at a time, and even doing those long exposures and doing. I mean, it was a different time, and the quality that he had is like it's timeless because it's still
insane.
You know, it's still relative today. You know.
Yeah, he's definitely like one of the masters of photography, and with him it's crazy because one of the things that people might not know is like he got a lot of those shots because he went to that he found a location and a picture he wanted, and he knew that he needed a certain light to hit it at a certain angle. So a lot of times he would go to the same spots for months. Like there's some of his shots where he literally went to the same spot for months. He checked the same spots in different seasons and different weather conditions. Like he was like super dedicated and obsessive,
waiting for the
right moment,
for the right moment, the right shot. I mean I think that's what it's all about. And you know, with now that we're with you know, with digital, you know, you know, it's been talked about a lot. Now you have the luxury of fucking having 60 something gigabytes, and you just shoot and delete, you know. And you know, for a while with you know, we're doing some film stuff. And at one point of during photography, I went back and you know learned that film, you know, and not just learn how to shoot the camera, but develop you know the process of developing, and even being in a dark room, and you know, I mean, all that just kind of like gives you to be more appreciative with what you know, with the digital that you have now, because it's a whole process which is really cool, you know, to experience, because I don't think not a lot of people do it nowadays. And some who do it, they just probably shoot it and they never develop the films. They just have like, I'm guilty of it too.
Guilty.
You know, like 20 rows.
I'm not that guilty. Goddamn, 20 rows.
I'm gonna develop them. Yeah, like $7 a row.
I feel like with film, overall, I feel like it makes you a better photographer, because you can't just like take 20 pictures of the same thing. You kind of you have one shot to get the moment, and you don't know if you got the moment. You know, you can't instantly check it.
Yeah.
So it definitely, I feel like you think about your shots more, and you definitely have to be more conscious of,
Yeah.
like getting the right conditions, and having everything right, because you can't redo. So I feel like there's an advantage to being a film photographer.
Yeah.
Like, and then it just has its own look. Like, there's just something about film and the way that it's, I don't know what it is exactly,
It's
but there's something that's different than digital.
it's different, man. Because I was shooting. I started with a 35 millimeter,
Hmm.
and that was really good. I got some really cool shots, and I was just trying a whole bunch of different kind of film until I found like the sweet spot of the film, which is I used the black and white Kodak,
Hmm.
and I thought that one's really great. And then I started shooting medium format with I believe I was using the Mamiya 645 745. It's a big fucking mechanical camera, and
Yeah.
that thing is heavy as hell, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, I tried shooting street stuff with it. Man, I was done by like 2 blocks. You can't carry that shit.
Yeah.
But the photos that it gives you, I mean, those things are fucking big negatives,
Yeah.
and the 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 resolution that even when you scan it,
Hmm.
it's like it looks so good. The grain, just like everything, man. It just looks fucking. It looks really dope. I don't think there's anything like it.
Yeah, actually, I think a lot of people that like painters, a lot of the like the way that they get the images to use for like prints and stuff is medium format,
Yeah,
because of the amount of detail that you
yeah,
can get, and like and it represents the colors almost exactly to what you're
yeah,
looking at. Because like with Canons and the Sonys, they all have their own little kind of like their own little algorithm for their colors, so
yeah,
it's not like, yeah, medium format, you get you get what you're seeing,
yeah.
you
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 get
get
it.
what you're
You get
actually kind of
exactly.
seeing, like
Yeah,
the colors.
And it's by the way, it's the now I remember it's the 6x7, 6x7, the Mamiya 6x7.
Yeah, I know, which is like
Man,
a fucking tank. The homie,
it's a tank, dude.
Cali Winters, I think you know Cali
Yeah,
Winters. He shoots with one
with
of
one of
those
those.
fucking medium format fucking
Though they're,
the
I mean,
fucking 10-pound fucking beast.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. I mean, once they're fucking heavy to be carrying around, even in your bag. So
Hmm.
I actually, I stopped carrying it around because I was like, this isn't a camera to be fucking carrying around, and I just left it at the studio,
For
and I
sure.
just shot it at the studio, and I've gotten some of the most amazing fucking portraits from that. What I really like about film, and I experimented with that, was that you can take like 4 photos in just one frame.
Okay.
I mean, I experiment with that, and it looks great. Just you got to be a little patient with it, because you do slow down.
Hmm.
You slow down way down when you're
Yeah.
shooting with film.
Yeah. Aren't those rolls of film too like really limited too? Isn't it like 6 shots or 12
Yeah,
shots, something like that?
with that one, I think you get like 10 shots.
10 shots. Okay.
Yeah, 10, and the fucking roll is like $9. So you
Yeah, man. Like film is no joke. Like fucking imagine developing 20 rolls. That's
yeah,
almost like
yeah,
That's like what, 2 bills? Almost like
yeah,
ten
man.
dollars a roll.
Yeah,
Like seven,
that,
seven, $8 a
that
roll.
that's why I invested in learning how to develop my
Dude,
own film, because I was like, man, I fucking I I I, I can't be taking it to Sammy's all the time.
yeah, nah,
Fucking, even though Sammy's is the shit, because they actually they'll have your film ready the next day, which
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah,
But I learned how to only black and white, I only develop black and white, and then from that, it's either the dark room or the scanner.
yeah,
After that, but in the dark room, even it's really dope too, because just to see everything come to life.
yeah,
But working with the enlargers, man, those things are. That's another thing. It's as long as you get the enlarge the whole process of working the enlarger on your negative, and you get it right on the dot, because you gotta like zoom in, sort of, until you see some grain, and then you stop it right there, and boom, it does the you expose it
Yeah.
to light onto the paper. And I mean, I've spent I threw away a lot of paper fucking uh, learning to do it, because nobody ever really, only like YouTube,
Yeah.
but once you're like on hands with the shit, then that's when you really uh
Yeah.
come with the bumps and the fucking problems.
Yeah. But it's cool, man. There's something about, especially if you do it yourself, there's just something about having your work like physically in front of you, printed, it's
Yeah.
just like, it's just something dope about that, man. Like, digital and Instagram and all that is cool. But like when you can actually hold,
Yeah.
something with you and sell it, and like people appreciate it,
Yeah.
like that's just like a dope feeling, when people appreciate your work, and you get to show people like,
Yeah.
this is
I
what
think
I
I
did.
think that's the whole to me, that's the whole idea. I'm never gonna stop preaching it. I would always tell everyone, like, dude, you need to print your shit.
Yeah.
You need to like have physical, even if it's digital. You can go and still print it.
Yeah.
And I got into the whole printing process too, even digital,
Yeah.
because there's so many paper formats that you can use,
Yeah.
and each paper has its own way of displaying your
Mm-hmm.
photo, how the ink goes into the paper, how it settles in with it.
Yeah.
If it's a matte paper, there's all kinds of fucking paper, fucking matte
Yeah.
rice. I think there's rice paper that you can print on metal. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many
Yeah. There's a
things you can print on.
Yeah, that's definitely like a dope aspect of the photography scene. Being able to just kind of like have your work. I wanted to ask. I had a question that I wanted to ask you before we were filming, and because you do a lot of portraits and you work with models and you do a lot of like nude photography.
Yeah.
You're saying that you were working with a homie, and
Oh
then
yeah.
he was kind of trying to. You guys were working on the edit, and like somebody was passing by and he was trying to cover it up, like almost like he was ashamed of it,
Yeah.
and I wanted to ask, like, how do you deal with, because like even for me, like I do nude paintings and stuff, but I haven't really done a lot of nude photography because I don't know, like it's not that I'm not comfortable, I just feel like there's like this, I have this thing where like if I were to shoot stuff like that and then put it out there, like I'm gonna get kind of judged or seen in a certain way. Like, how do you deal with that, like, aspect of like doing that type of work?
uh Well, I think first and most of, if you're shooting that, I think you have to be, not give a fuck about what people, think. That's the way that I feel. But I enjoy the negative reviews just as a positive feedback, because that means that actually my photograph actually made you stop and give it a critic, whether it's negative or positive.
Right.
But and like, no, man, I'm not really, I display my work,
Mm-hmm.
and at home with our creative friends, anywhere in the R walk,
Mm-hmm.
or anywhere where I can actually will let me display
Yeah.
my work. I would do it, unless there's like an age thing, and then they tell me like, oh, we really don't want to be showing
Yeah, like
any
nudity or
any
like.
nudity and all that. And my work, like for example, like my mom, my family, they all know my work,
Yeah.
and I think they kind of, maybe at the beginning they were like, a little like they jumped the gun, like, you're shooting porn
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something. I was like, I'm not shooting porn or Playboy. I try to make my photos. I use a lot of shadows.
Yeah, for sure.
So I play the shadow game. It's
Mm.
not like
Just
completely,
yeah. For
there
sure.
it is, fucking ass and titties, or because
Yeah.
it's not really my thing. It's
Yeah, for
I
sure.
like to give it a little more artistic to it.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of approach that type of like photography and with the same mindset. Like for me, like there's something about doing like when you're doing like new stuff where it's like elegantly done, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like you use shadows or you use like certain position where you kind of still have to like use your imagination a little bit. It's not like some fucking the pussy is right there, you know, like
Yeah.
legs spread out and like
Yeah.
full porn. Like I really enjoy. Sometimes even like it's funny. Like my thing is like see through stuff.
Yeah.
Like I there's something about when you do something like
Yeah.
really where it's not
Like
like
veils and
graphic,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
where it's like really nice and like that's what I enjoy, but still,
Tasteful is what
yeah, there we
the.
go. But it's still I have like this thing where I think what it is that like it's a culture thing. I think like in
Yeah.
the Latin community, like we like growing up, we don't talk about sex, we don't talk, you
Mm.
know, like all that shit's like
It's
cochino,
off.
no
Yeah.
hables de
Yeah.
eso,
It's off.
you
It's
know,
off the table.
yeah, like so. I think I still have a little bit of like because I know that like for guys, this is one thing that I've said that because of that, like a lot of times we associate like nudity with sex. Like when you don't have any like education or any like when you haven't talked about those things, like I think a lot of people make the mistake of like specifically guys
Yeah.
make the mistake of thinking like if a girl is naked that means sex, it has something to do with sex, you know, and you
Yeah.
have to kind of like be able to separate that. But it's kind of hard when you haven't, you know, like had those conversations or had like a open dialogue when it comes to sex and all that type of shit, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it comes from. But because I mean obviously I do nude work, but once in a while I still like second guess myself, you know. I'm
Yeah.
like do I really want to put this out? Like I if you look at my work like on Instagram, like it's I work with models and I have done like new stuff, but for the most part, it's kind of like not as like out
Yeah.
there, you know.
Not a.
I don't feel like I'm quite there yet, you know. Like
Yeah. No, I think with like you said, it's like a cultural thing because so how many times that I show some relatives my photos, Mexican relatives, no English speaking,
yeah,
and they see the photos and right off the back in their heads they're like, oh, oh no, pues mira, and let me be your light boy next
yeah,
time or something, like
every
it's like
time, man.
they think like it's um like that, because they right, like you said,
Yeah,
right away they want to relate it to Playboy or
yeah.
Hustler or all those dirty
Or
magazines they
something, yeah,
got that,
sexual. It has to like because there's
yeah,
nudity, it
yeah,
means it's sexual,
all
and
those
that's a mistake that.
all those magazines that they probably still have. Like, you still looking at
Yeah.
magazines, dude? Like,
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like those people, those judgmental people are the ones that have
yeah,
the
yeah,
stash in their fucking
right,
pad and
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
You know.
And I think it's when you approach it this way, because and at the time, I probably like, I joke with them back like, no, it's just, but in my head, like, you're missing the whole point of the photograph,
Yeah, yeah.
like, to me, it's I mean, it could be a lot of things that I could shoot, because I always shoot with an idea. That's something that I kind of like picked up. I always like to go in there with the mindset of like what I want to shoot and
Mm,
how I want to shoot it and what kind of light I want to use.
for
It's
sure.
not like you just show up and then, oh yeah, well, let's start this,
Yeah, yeah.
because we shot some stuff here before and
Mm-hmm.
have some photos of that, and I remember you mentioned, oh, we have your dad has a bunch of garments,
Like rolls of.
rows of garment, and I said, man, you know what, I mean, that'd be tight to do a shoot like with that as a
Mhm.
background, the colors and all that, and we did exactly that. So we
Hey.
planned for it. So I like to plan
Mm-hmm.
for the shoot and what I'm gonna shoot. It's not like, it's just some of it, it does come spontaneous,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that kind of like kicks in when, especially with on locations,
Yeah, yeah.
because one day you're like driving by and you find this dope location. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna come back and
Yeah.
shoot here, and then you show up the day of the shoot, and whatever it is that caught your attention, it's like gone.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, planning the what I'm gonna shoot is something that I always try to do. So and that way want to give as much information to the model
Mm-hmm.
as you can, so they're also prepared and they know what they're um, gonna do and what's gonna happen
Right, right.
of the shoot, because you don't get them off guard.
For sure. And how do you approach like working with people? Do you normally like message people, or or are people messaging you? Kind of like, how's that process for you? Like,
Yeah, I sometimes they message me, or if I like something catches my attention from them, I approach them or
mm-hmm.
message them, and it can be anything. Doesn't necessarily like just because uh you have a you look great in shorts or anything like that. Look, to me, it could be hands or eyes or something more, because I shoot even I call them bodyscapes, I guess is what you call them,
Mm-hmm.
and like shots of just hands or just a certain body part, or
Mm-hmm.
really close-ups.
Yeah, yeah.
And usually it just if it's that's the case, then I let them know about it. Or if I have an idea, I usually hire a model.
For sure.
Most of my work, I like working with models that I already work with. So you're gonna see in my work a lot of like uh maybe the same model,
Yeah, yeah.
and just because you kind of like develop a friendship and comfort, and they pretty much know what to expect, and I know what
Mm-hmm.
to expect,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's just easier.
No, yeah, and you could see it. You can see the progression in your photos as you work with someone multiple
Yeah,
times. Like, I actually just was listening to a podcast earlier today of a photographer that I follow, that I kind of like enjoy his work, and that's one of the things that he says. Like, he was saying that because I asked him like, what would be like your dream model to work with, and he kind of said like, I don't know if I really have a dream model. I'd rather work with people that I'm comfortable with.
yeah,
And he kind of has like a roster already of like models that he works with, and they do like really dope work. And that's something that he was talking about, that yeah, because that when you do build that comfort, and like you're saying, like, you both know what's gonna happen and
yeah,
what to expect, you're just there to purely create dope work.
yeah,
You're not worrying about, am I,
yeah,
do I
of
need a
being
cover, am I
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable, or
Yeah,
anything like that. And I've seen it. Like, we were just talking about that, where I worked with a model that most likely wasn't really comfortable,
yeah,
whether it be with her body or nudity or anything. But um, we were shooting, and I could see in her face
yeah,
like that she had like some insecurities,
yeah,
and I feel like that goes away when you do have that rapport with somebody, when you
yeah,
work, and you can see it for sure. You can see
yeah.
the work,
The
the
work. Yeah,
increase and get better as you get more comfortable, for sure.
yeah. The I think when it's, I mean, you can see it, because even though if you find a way, if both of you find a way to get through that shoot, you can still, you can see it in the photographs. The uncomfort.
Hmm.
And you could be. I mean, you end up actually shooting probably more. You'll come home with like 300 files.
Yeah.
And um, I used to shoot 300 files when I started doing portraits, but
Yeah, yeah.
as you you progress, and you work with people that you feel comfortable with, they feel comfortable with you.
Hmm.
You cut that down to a lot less, and
For
you're
sure.
not just have quantity, and quantity is just, you have more quality
Yeah.
than quantity, because then you just find yourself like, man, each one of these shots is, it's
Yeah.
great, and now it's but now I only have to go through 50 files,
Yeah, for sure.
maybe
Yeah.
100,
Yeah.
but not 400.
Yeah, that ends up kind of being almost like a distraction in itself. Just having that many
Yeah,
pictures to go through, you might miss some of the gems. But I feel like your overall like amount of pictures that you take overall, as you get more experience, and
yeah,
it goes down. Like
yeah,
you know what you're doing. Like,
yeah. Oh
that
yeah,
makes
man.
sense.
Especially with like me, with my portraits, I always insist on using strobes, even inside or outside.
Mm-hmm.
my perfect day for me is like overcast,
Mm-hmm.
and just because I can create the sun basically, with the
Mm-hmm.
light. How I can create the sun shining in the back or on the side or however it is. You can do that,
Yeah.
rather than when it's a sunny day, when it's
Yeah.
you don't have control over that light.
Especially like if it's like 1 p.m. or like that when
Yeah,
the sun is just directly above you, it's like really hard to fight that. Yeah, like overcast days are like the perfect days to shoot
yeah,
because it's like the earth is like a soft box,
yeah,
like
yeah.
with when the clouds are covering the sun.
I got a question for you, man. Because uh, I was just talking about earlier about your the painting. I got some paintings off of you because I dig your work. It's just like it's the shit.
For sure, you
And
good looking out on them purchases.
and but like what is your inspiration when you're painting or doing photographs?
So if you want the honest truth, I think it's not like it's not with the best kind of intentions, because for me it ultimately comes down to like money,
Mm,
and that's a mistake, and I know it's a mistake to try to approach whether it be the paintings or the photography, because I'm like, I need to make money, like I
right.
need some type of career. I feel like I've always been creative, and it's just something that I feel like I can do. But overall, I always have this kind of feeling of like feeling like I'm not a true artist. Like I'm just kind of like faking it,
Yeah.
like like um talking to you and seeing your work, I see that you love photography in a way that I don't.
Hmm.
And so like I'm kind of searching for what it is that I like. I'm not sure if the paintings or and the photography is what I was meant to do. So it's kind of a hard question to answer, as far as like a lot of the things that I do is like I enjoy like sports, and I've always enjoyed music, so I do a lot of like celebrity stuff. And then obviously women.
Yeah.
I've since I can remember, like I've always been into women. Like
Yeah.
just I something about like the female body, and just like everything about a woman is just like
Yeah.
the shit to me. I
Yeah.
just I can appreciate everything about a woman. So like to me, it's like there's nothing better to work with than like
Yeah.
you know uh like the female form. So that's
Yeah.
where the nude portraits come from. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I just want to be remembered as an artist, whether
Yeah.
that be
I
through
think
my
I think
paintings.
that's the goal for to me. That's like you were saying earlier right now, that um is it like money. And to me, because I work, I'm a working photographer,
Mm-hmm.
as well. I do product uh shoots and things like that. And it was a hard transition from like going from your day job to going full on. And and it was a little like I was skeptical because you're like, fuck, okay, I'm gonna quit my fucking day job, and then I need to figure out how I can get paid doing this, because it's also, it's like your hobby and your interests. And
Mm-hmm.
they always say never mix your
Yeah.
your job and your hobbies.
Yeah.
But is it a job to photograph product and all this stuff that they bring me to shoot? Yeah, you get tired. It's like a because it essentially it is a job, man.
Yeah.
You're doing work for somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
and they have their own ideas, and your job is to bring that to life to
Mm-hmm.
them. That's what they're paying you for. But I don't think I would have it any other way than to I can to be shooting the camera,
Yeah.
all day, and I can still. What I do try to do is like separate my work, my personal work from actual paying work. But it's that paying work that lets me hire a model
Right. Right.
or take a trip somewhere and shoot there, or rent a studio for the day, or you know what I mean. So from that, it's giving, so I can create as well, and paying the bills.
For sure. Like I do enjoy it. Like I do enjoy photography. I do enjoy working with people, but there's something in me that feels like this isn't what I was really meant to do. Um, and then like that's actually like a journey that I've been on. Like I've been really like trying to find myself and like figure out like what am I here for? What was I meant to? And I've had like this thought in my head that I think I'm an entertainer that's just been too scared to entertain. Like I've always been into comedy.
Yeah.
And I feel like I might have a door there. So I've literally been like thinking about trying like stand up, and like I've been kind of writing and I don't know, for whatever reason something's telling me that might be the thing that I need to focus on.
You're calling, with this whole the podcast, man. I think it's a great start, man, because you get loosened up,
Yeah.
and you're basically prepping yourself to that. I myself, man, I'm not much of I can't like be at the podium and fucking I get stage fright, man. Like I'm fucking yeah, I'm behind the camera. I don't want to be.
Yeah, that for me that's the thing. Like honestly, like there's very few things that scare me. Like I'm not scared of dying, like, but if there's one thing that I can think that I could be like, fuck, that scares the shit out of me, is like being in a stage with a microphone in front of a bunch of people just looking at you. That's like one of the scariest things that I can think about. But something tells me that, like, I don't know, that I need to put myself out there in that way. Like I don't know, and like there's other things that I'm really passionate about, but I just haven't found a way to monetize them. Like thinking back, growing up, if there's one thing that I feel like they say, like, find something that you can do all day, like that you love to do, and like you would do it if you weren't getting paid. For me, one of those first loves for me was video games. Like since my pops got me the first OG NES.
Yeah.
Bro, I could play video games all fucking day. Like that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about, but I'm just like, yeah, like now there's ways to make money. There's like Twitch and you could stream and all that, but I'm just like,
be a professional Fortnite.
I don't want to like even if I were to make it and make millions, I don't know. I don't know if that's what I want to be known as, like as a video game player. Like nothing to anybody that makes their living like that, but I want to make a mark in a different way. Whether it be like, the reason that I got into the paintings is because like I look back at like the great painters, like the Picassos and like the like the masters. Like I want to be considered in that way in something. I mean, and looking at my paintings, I look at them and I'm like, I don't think it's this. I look at my paintings and I'm like, they're cool, and I'm sure people would enjoy them, and I'm sure people would be interested in giving me money to paint stuff for them. But I feel like I don't think even if I were to really give it 100% everything, I don't feel like I'll be like a master.
Like it's not fulfilling.
I don't think so. So like I felt like that about video games, and I feel like that about sports. Like I like basketball and football were like my fucking thing. Like, but I just never took it seriously. Like
I tell you what, man. Like I think whatever it is that you do find, I think you're gonna be 100% on it, because I mean whatever it is that you do, that you take an interest to, you do it 100, and I'm sure that whenever it is that you find that, man, you're gonna give it 100, because I mean if this is not it and it's fucking dope as fuck, then I can't wait to see what you're gonna do.
For sure, I appreciate it, man. Like that's actually one of the things that I never really had in my life. I was always moving. My parents split up when I was young, and they were kind of kids when they had us. My parents were really young, so in a way, like it was kind of like kids raising kids. So I feel like I didn't get a lot of like encouragement. I didn't get a lot of like you're doing a good job or like
Yeah.
you're. So I've always had like this thing where, not necessarily like a self-esteem issue, but I've always had like this thing where I like second guess
Yeah.
myself. So like I said, I've been on this journey to try to like, I'm like, bro, you're 35. You need to start.
Yeah.
You need to find your thing and
Find
really
your
like
thing. Yeah. But
like.
you can't push it either. I think you gotta like, but right now that you mentioned all that and the encouragement and all that, I have a similar thing because I also, I take like, I do the photos and all that, and people like them, or just create some kind of attention to it. That's great. But like you said, I also feel like, man, I feel like it's still like 80%. I need, like, I feel like it's still missing that thing. Because I could love a photograph or a portrait one night and then hate it in the morning. Just like I just, and then once it's done, I look at it and I'll be like, fuck, maybe I could have done this different. I mean, I could have,
Mhm.
done that, done this, and second guessing, the stuff. Never really, for sure. When they say, they're like, oh, artists, I never really taken myself serious as me calling myself an artist. I just,
Mhm.
I love what I do, and I just do it. You know, and when I was a kid, also, I had a lot of art classes. Since I can remember, I always had art classes all the way up to like high school,
Nice.
and I always liked it, man. I always enjoyed
Mhm.
um, looking at people that knew how to draw or sketch or paint,
Mhm.
and that's how I really got into the whole art thing. Was one of my cousins when I was a kid. He used to sketch,
Mhm.
and he used to. I would sneak into his room when he was gone. He was like much older, like in high school, and I was like, I don't know, like maybe like 7 or 8 years old.
Mhm.
I used to sneak into his room and go through his sketchbooks, and I was like,
Nice.
"Fuck, man!" Those, I mean, he would like do some dope sketches, like some like Aztec shit, and like he would do like graffiti art and all that. And he used to listen to a lot of rock music,
Órale.
so he had like a whole case of cassettes, and
Nice.
I would pick one out and I'll throw it on the thing. I would just jam out. At the time it was like Nirvana and Guns N' Roses,
Nice.
Metallica, and all that. So I would go through these sketches and listen to the music, and
Yeah.
it just I was vibing with it. And
Mhm.
I tried painting, I tried drawing. I just never really could get quite the hand of it.
Right.
And when I did, I never really, like, I would show it to my mom,
Mhm.
and I never really got that encouragement
Mhm.
to like pursue it.
Mhm.
So I kind of like, put it on the back burner,
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
And when I found the photography, I was like, fuck, this is it. This is how I'm gonna showcase my
Mhm.
my drawings. This is,
For sure.
to me, that's my drawings. And to this day, music, it's still a huge inspiration to me.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, from the idea of a shoot all the way through the editing process. It's like,
Yeah.
a tune, a verse,
Mhm.
uh, the music. It just, you feel it.
For sure.
So I mean, but yeah, never got that encouragement. I just picked it up, and I never really been completely sure of the work. I
Yeah.
just do it. I mean, best you can do.
No, yeah, and that's it. That's one of the things like I said, I've been kind of like trying to work on myself because I feel like I know where my potential is at, and I know that I'm not meeting my potential. So I'm my harshest critic.
Mm,
But and I've been really looking into like self-help books and like how to get over like childhood traumas
yeah.
and stuff like that. And that's one for me. That's one of the big things that it was that I just didn't get that encouragement. I didn't get like for me it was like a perfect storm because I'm the only boy. I have six sisters. My
Mm.
parents split up. I live with my
Is
mom
it
until
the youngest or
I'm the second oldest, but I
okay?
always felt out of place because it was nothing but women,
Yeah.
and I didn't really have like I mean, I have two male cousins, but we kind of grew up here and there together, but one of them is younger than me and then one is older. So I kind of never had role models.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's something as that I know now that kids need that, man. They
Yeah.
need mentors, they need guidance. They
Yeah.
need, if you don't get that, man, like there's a potential for you to get lost, man. That's why
Yeah.
there's so many dudes in jail, How
Yeah.
many young guys kill somebody at like fucking 17, 18 on some dumb shit and they're locked up for the rest of their life, and
Yeah.
and it's all because they just didn't have like a father figure or somebody to be
Yeah.
like, you're doing this wrong, bro. Like, do it this way,
Yeah.
or you need that, man. Like, it's so important. And when you
It's
don't have
very,
it,
man, very.
it creates adults like me, where I'm talented and I have a bunch of stuff to offer, but because I'm dealing with certain things like in the back of my mind and stuff that I haven't resolved, like it intrudes on my creativity,
Yeah.
like
It creates a blockage, man.
for sure. I like to, like, I'm down to start things. I'm down to try things, but a lot of time, like, I'll get like almost like nah, bro. Like, you can try, but nah, you're not gonna all the way. Like, there's
Yeah.
I have this like little blockage, and like for the last like year, maybe couple of years, I've been kind of trying to figure out like why the fuck am I
Yeah.
being this way? Like,
Yeah, I think the best. I mean, I get exactly what you're saying, man, and I think in instance like that, um, I think the best way is to it's like kind of like just talk about it, like and let the shit out,
mm-hmm,
um, because yeah, man, you can't like just hold the shit, and it's like fucking little things just keep piling it in. I
no, for
mean,
sure,
that is what essentially, a man does, right? You just push it. You just
yeah,
sort of push it down. You just keep, but it's you feel better, man, when you
yeah,
talk about the shit
mm-hmm,
that's going on,
mm-hmm,
rather than just hold it in, because it creates that you just kind of like you create that blockage for yourself, not just
mm-hmm,
in your creativity, but in maybe in your day-to-day life,
for
you
sure.
know
And that's things that I'm realizing now. Like, one of the things that I know, like 100% from what I've been reading and from experience and from talking to people, is like when you don't resolve some of the shit you might have gone through, like as a whether it be as a kid or as an adult, that you just like some shit happened to you and you were like, fuck it, block it out, it didn't happen.
yeah,
Like, if you don't deal with that stuff,
yeah,
it blocks you, man.
yeah,
You're not able to move on.
yeah,
Like, and
exactly,
that's where I feel like I'm at. Like, I'm like, I have all this stuff that I can offer and potential and everything, but there's something blocking it, and I need to figure out what it is. And I've been on a journey to figure that out. And like the podcast,
yeah, that's
this is an aspect of it, like communicating with people, and having
yeah,
open conversations and seeing like the way you're handling your life and the things that you're doing. Like, that's what I wanted to start this, just to be around creative people and get other people's perspective on things, and just
yeah,
talk about art
yeah,
and creating art and
and life, man, because I mean, with along with all that, with the creativity, I mean, yeah, you have to, it's part of your life, and then shit happens, all the time, man. It's it's whatever. I feel like whatever happens to you in life as an artist, I think that uh you have that ability to push that out
mhm,
through your art,
yeah,
but I think sometimes in able to do that, you have to deal with it, and
100%.
then dealing with it, then you can move on,
Mhm,
like I was telling you earlier, I was going through some shit,
mhm,
and you feel blocked, man. You don't do shit, you kind of like want to start an idea, but then you just like throw in the back burner and you're like, fuck it,
mhm,
and I told you, I'm uh, talking about it and dealing with it and deciding to move on, because I think only you can do that for yourself. You know, move on.
mhm,
Um, I decided to do that, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna move on from my personal shit, but at the same time I was like, I'm gonna exercise it with my art and my creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna close the book on some of my my stuff that I did. I'm working on a book
Mm-hmm.
of like 5-6 years of portraits that I'm gonna be bringing out soon. I'm working on, and
For
I want to
sure.
kind of like close the book on that, and just everything around me, and clean slate. Fresh ideas, fresh creative ideas,
For sure.
fresh ideas of life,
Mm-hmm.
itself. So I think it's yeah, man, it's important to talk about what you're going through, especially in the times that we that we're living in.
For sure. Yeah, it's like a lot of shit going on, and I feel like we were talking about like culture, and I feel like that's another thing that in the land community, like we don't talk about like mental health.
Yeah,
Like you gotta man it up and
yeah, you gotta
be a
man.
man.
Yeah,
You
you gotta
you
be a
can't be
fucking
weak and all
man.
that shit, and that's something that you're also finding. Like I grew up in like I basically grew up in like with gang culture, and in gang culture it's like you can't show weakness.
Yeah,
You gotta fucking be on your fucking be on point. You can't fucking show emotion, and that's some of the thing that like I'm fighting. So yeah, this is the podcast is definitely a tool that I'm trying to use to kind of like like
yeah.
clear
Dig,
things up in my
clear,
head.
yeah,
And
clear your mind, clear your everything. Dig the way out. For find that light, right?
we
And
trying out here,
yeah,
like
man, we
I
trying, man. It's there's always a today, there's always a tomorrow, and you're gonna be you're in the shit. So I think it's to make the best of uh of everything that you do. You know, uh, as a person, as a creative, as a human being. To um you know give that 100% to yourself, and so you can give 100% to anything else or anyone else
for
that
sure.
that comes into your life.
Yeah, man, we trying. Like it's funny because I'm doing so many things, because I'm doing the paintings and the photography, the podcast, and
You're all over the
other
place,
video
dude.
stuff. Like sometimes what happens to me, man, is like I'm so backed up. Like I need to edit these pictures. I don't have time to edit the podcast, or I can't film an episode because I need to paint. Like so it's like I get all like I'm fighting my head a lot, man. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I like the
You're like
people that are really productive.
multitasking like
I'm
a
just like, how do
motherfucker.
y'all do it though? Like I'm bad at it. Like I can multitask, but one of the things that I'm really bad at as is staying consistent and motivated to like keep working. Like
Yeah.
I, it's easy for me to like start checking my phone and then fucking stop the work that I'm doing and get easily distracted. I'm always fighting that.
Yeah.
That like
There's certain a lot of distractions and shit. Like phone, the uh, uh the drinking,
smoking
the smoking,
everything,
the
like
everything.
just a
Everything is. It's all like what you're trying to multitask, put them all together. I'm trying to find some time for the drinking. I'm trying to find
it's
some time.
crazy. Like we're we're definitely overstimulated. Like
Well,
there's just too much. There's Netflix, there's movies, there's the internet, there's phones, there's like just being around people. Like
yeah,
there's so much.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why meditation is good, man. Just to
Oh
try to
yeah.
like slow your brain down and
Oh
try to
yeah.
not think and just let it.
Are you a film fanatic with like movies and stuff? Are you a
Big.
yeah
Like I think that's where like I was saying, like the whole comedy thing, I think that's where it comes from. Like I've always liked movies, and a lot of the
yeah
movies that I liked have comedians in it.
yeah
So I've always enjoyed. That's another thing. I could watch movies all day, every
oh
day. So
yeah
sometimes I gotta cancel my Netflix subscription because I'll just be watching all the shows and
or
just
get
binging
or
and
get a
shit.
new one, right? You jump from Netflix to Prime to HBO
Max to fucking Showtime. That
yeah, they got
I would do that. Like I
yeah
would cancel. Like sometimes I would like let me cancel it for a few months because it gets kind of like boring after you've been watching for a long time.
yeah
And I'm like, okay, let me. Like I'm telling you, I've been into video games. I sold my consoles. Like I would cancel my subscription to Netflix because I'm like, all right, bro, I need to use my time better. I need to use
yeah
my time more productively.
yeah.
You know.
But I'm a big film fan. I love movies, you know,
Same, bro.
and I mean I can't binge. Well, my time doesn't let me to. Excuse me, to like binge watch 4 or 5 movies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I do when I get a chance to sit down and actually, you know, watch one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, it's really good, you know, like you know, and I'm a fan like of the indie shit, you know, a lot of like I was just watching one the other day, man. The it's called Dan in Real Life with that one dude from Steve Carell, you know, from The
Yeah,
Office.
yeah. I haven't seen the show, but I know it.
And it was like it's just straight about like life, you know, and it's simple film, you know, just fucking um you know, there's none of that special effects shit. It's just like a great dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just basically about this guy that you know, lost his wife and so has 2 daughters,
Mm-hmm.
and is trying to get back into the like wants to get back into the whole dating thing, but can't because you know he's busy as fuck. You know, he's a writer and he has his daughters, and you know they're going through the teenage years, and you know, so he has like a lot
Yeah.
on his plate. Um, you know, you know, it's as the movie progresses, he like finds meets someone, and then it kind of like it turns out that this person that he meet and kind of like fell in love at first sight
Mm-hmm.
um, is actually dating his brother. You know, and they meet they meet
That
at like a family reunion. And they
what?
realize like what the fuck, and then you know he's kind of like going through the thing where like oh fuck, like you know I can't fuck with you. You're my you know you're my brother's girl and shit. And then like the brother's like taking it real serious and shit.
Yeah.
And you know it's just a very interesting movie, you know, low budget indie, and you know, but just like the the um the kind of like the message that it has, that you know, even with all the shit and all of your plate is full, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, some good shit could always happen. You just never know
Yeah.
when that is. So I thought that was pretty cool. If you get a chance, you should check it out.
Yeah, I had heard of that. It's like an
Yeah, it's
old movie.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going flipping through like Prime and shit, and it was just like
Fucking let me
I
check
was
it out.
like, I don't, because I like the actor, you know, since the 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah,
You know, that motherfucker's hilarious, you know. So I was like, oh, but it wasn't like a funny. It was kind of like a drama type of shit, you
yeah.
know. So it was a pretty cool film, you know. So that was the last one that I was able to watch, that like no interruptions.
No, yeah, I love. I think I secretly like I said. I think I'm an entertainer that's scared to. So I secretly I think I wanted to be like an actor or like a
Yeah,
comedian or something. Like I know that like I'm meant to entertain. I've always just been too scared. You know, I've just
yeah,
been too like I don't want to put myself out there. You know,
yeah.
like
Well, you
and
know,
I'm trying to get rid of it.
especially for the comedy part, man. It's
Yeah,
like, I mean, I love stand up. I like
yeah.
watching the stand up.
Same.
You know, I have a few stand up comedians that I like fucking I follow. You know, fucking like you know, I like Bill Burr's shit, like dark fucking kind of sense of humor shit.
Love Bill Burr.
You know, fucking. I mean, there's a lot, and I mean, to do that, man. I mean, first of all, just to be on stage, but then you got to worry about like, you know, if nobody laughs at the fucking jokes, man. That's, you
Yeah,
know, you hear footsteps, and it's like that's a whole nother thing, you
yeah,
know, because you know you gotta like. I mean, that's I think that's tough, man. Even probably worse than singing. I think like
yeah,
performing a song, because
yeah.
you know, you have a good voice. I mean, you can slap on, you know, for shit. If shit starts to hit the fan, you can,
You could just go to your
yeah, you can just fucking, you know, do a song by another artist and
Yeah.
bring that shit. But if you're like a comedian and you're up there and you're just stinking up the whole fucking joint, it's like fuck. You just like, how the fuck do I get out of here?
And
Want to get away?
and almost everybody at first, even the best of them, all stanked it up at the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
It's like all of
And
them say the same shit.
It's
It's
the
like
process.
yeah, bro. And that's the thing that like I'm telling you, like, cause when I get nervous, bro, I get Tourette's, bro. I start the fucking. I'm gonna be up there fucking
Yeah, it's
just
just,
shaking
they're
and
just
shit.
like
Imagine,
laughing.
like,
Oh, that was a good set.
bro,
Like, little did they know that was actually
that
happening.
That wasn't my act. God damn it! I didn't mean to shit myself on
Right,
purpose,
right.
man.
Go viral. Like, you know that Tourette's guy that shitted
he
himself on
shitted
stage.
himself, yeah, fucking duded out. That's gonna be my fucking. No, but yeah, that's it. Like
Fucked up his whole wheelchair, bro. It was hilarious.
Here's the thing, like how I was saying earlier about the paintings. I don't think I could be like a world famous painter, but this might sound cocky, but something tells me that if I were to try it and like really give myself to it the way that I know that I should, and if I wanted to be successful at it, I think I'd be good. Like something in me tells me like but I just would need to get over that stage fright shit, and that's a big issue with me. Like I didn't even like going up in class and doing a presentation. Like, you know how when you're in school, I hate doing that. Like I don't handle. I think because I was always moving and I never really like communicated as well when I was younger. Fucking battery.
Oh man,
battery.
We've been over here talking our asses off. The phones are probably they've been dead for like an hour, and we're still.
We're an hour and 16 minutes in. No, but yeah, like I feel like if I can get over that like stage fright shit, I think I could do something with it, you know.
Oh man, I think you should, man. I mean, I had a few friends that are you gonna.
Let me fucking put the other battery in. Cause then it's not.
I had a few friends that were that tried that, and dude, it was terrible, man. He like. You know, like he would be like, "Hey man, come check me out at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach." I said, "All right, fuck it. You know, I'll go. You know, you just gotta like buy I think like a 2-drink minimum or some shit." Yeah, and oh man, it fucking hurt me, man, to see my boy up there. Like, fuck. It's like, why didn't you laugh? I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like, I don't want to be the only fucking dude. You know, I don't want the whole attention to turn to me. You hear steps.
They'll be able to reach you. We'll just finish it out like this. Yeah, that's the thing that I know that's gonna happen to me. I know I'm gonna freeze because when I just get nervous in general, I tend to like forget what the fuck I was saying sometimes. But the thing is that I think what's gonna save me is that like even if I start freezing and let's say I because I've been writing, so let's say I write a routine down. I know that even if I forget it or whatever, just things have naturally happened to me that are just funny. So I could just talk about like even my injury, bro. Like, you know, like I could fucking say like I could make up shit about how I got injured, you know, like maybe I held in a fart too long and that fucking left my ass paralyzed, you know, like as long like if I can make fun of myself, I think that would hit because like I was kind of trying to say earlier that like with the paintings, I don't feel like I could make an impact, but there's no like I don't think there's ever been like there is disabled comedians. Like I know a few, but there's no one that are like big. Like there's no comedian that's like a disabled comedian that's like a Eddie Murphy or a Dave Chappelle, you know?
Yeah.
So that lane is there if I'm willing to fucking risk it and take it, you know? And that's how I feel. Like I said, that sounds hella cocky to say because comedy is like probably one of the hardest things to do because you're up there by yourself. You know, there's no one's gonna come for you. There's not like a technique or like a procedure that you can follow that'll make you successful. It's like you're either funny or you're not.
Yeah.
And you either can handle the pressure of being in front of people and or you can't.
Yeah.
And that's that's what I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if like I pretty much know that I probably won't be good at first because almost nobody is.
Yeah.
But do I have it in me to keep on putting myself in that situation? That's what I don't know.
And then like you know, I mean, it could be, you know, I mean, depending on how you take it, but you know, it could be slightly discouraging, man, if you like you're up there and like nobody fucking laughs at your shit or something. You're like, fuck, man, I'm not getting fucking back up there again. You know, but I think that's what like makes you get better. You know, just like anything that like you do, you just gotta, you know, you fuck up, you gotta get back up on the horse and fucking and do it again. You know, until you get the rhythm, man. Because I'm sure you pick up a rhythm, like, oh man, I can, you know, joke about this, joke about that, and you know, essentially, then it's just gonna come to you naturally, you know.
Yeah, eventually, it's like anything. Like everybody always wants, especially nowadays, everybody wants the instant. Everybody wants to know how to do everything perfect. And at the end of the day, anything it comes like hard work. Like there's no big secrets with anything. As long as if you want to get good at something, put in the work. Yeah, it's simple as that. There's no like magic formulas. It's just like actually put in the work with whatever you're doing. Whether it's like you're, you know, painting or drawing or comedy or anything, you just gotta put in the work, man. And most people, 85% of people won't do it in this world.
I mean, you've been around you're around the community of like of, you know, photography and you know, TFTI and all that stuff. And you know, like since I started going to that, because I mean that's where we met. You know, since I started going to that, I mean, you meet a lot of photographers, and then you know, one year to the next, I mean, they're just like, you know, they're done with it. You know, they're like, and I think, you know, to me, it's like it's not that I want to stay consistent, but you know, I also you know, love doing it, so that makes me want to stay consistent. You know, and try to learn more as I possibly can.
For sure.
You know, it's but you know, I mean, nothing against all that. You know, I mean, I've met a lot of cool people that are, you know, they're like, and then they're like, I'm just not really, you know, into it anymore. I'm just like, oh, but that's cool. I mean, we can still kick it, you know.
Well, it's because a lot of people got into it because it was like the popular thing at the moment. It still kind of is. Everybody's kind of getting into it. And realistically, there's just like a bunch of fucking weirdos that just get a camera just because they want to get girls naked and all that shit. Yeah. Like that's
I've heard some stories, man. You know, like from like a few models that like, you know, they're, you know, during our session, I ask them, you know, you cut the shit like, you know, like we are right now, and you know, you you know, small talk, and you know, I've heard some fucking stories. The craziest one was that one model told me that I guess the dude picked her up and drove her over to fucking like the LA forests kind of like way, you know, how that thing just go ups and then it just, you know, turns. So they say they drove all the way and all the way up there, and then he asked her that he wanted to shoot her somewhere like very sketchy inside of the, you know, the forest somewhere, you know. And she said that she was like very close, and like he wasn't even like very just very weird and weird vibe. And you know, she got out of there. You know, her first thing was, you know, like, fuck, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And she left. I was like, well, fuck, good, you know, because like, man, it's so fucking uncomfortable, you know. And it's like those type of dudes are like the ones that give like, you know, bad name to photographers who, you know, really are into it for the art and for the artistic side of it, you know. Then I don't know, whatever weird shit they want to fucking do or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those things that just comes with it. Like you hear
Yeah,
every model has a story. Every
yeah.
model has like a fucking guy that just showed up with his iPhone trying to shoot them, or they're like trying
Oh
to
yeah,
touch him, or yeah,
yeah.
it's like it's
Oh man,
crazy,
you
man.
know, I think that like because even with you know, with my photographs, you know, you see them as like you know, you got to respect their space. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, just like you know, I have sisters, a mom, a lot of cousins,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I mean, I just think about like fuck. I mean, don't any of these dudes don't have that or what? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, to try to you know, put yourselves in those shoes. You know, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to for me to like even put even get close, and you know, I was you know get permission to even get close to maybe give them directions on the pose that I
Mm-hmm.
want them to do for the shot,
Yeah.
you know. But as far as like touching or anything like that, I mean, that's you know, that's pretty much a no. I don't really
Yeah.
do
Basically.
all that,
Yeah.
you know. Even with the models that are like I'm already comfortable shooting with it, you know. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, maybe I'll place their hand,
Yeah.
maybe you know, in a way.
Yeah.
But like anything then other than that, it's
Yeah.
like you know, you can't. You
Yeah.
can't do
It's
that. You know,
crazy
you gotta
because it's
respect them.
like yeah, it's like like there's misunderstandings as well. It's like
Yeah.
it's like I that's happened to me. Like I don't know if I'm sure you know about the situation. I don't really want to get to the specifics, but yeah, they like I shot with somebody and like it was this kind of thing where, um, I guess it was kind of like they felt like I was trying to like get at them type of thing, like you
Mm,
know, the spit game.
yeah.
But it like that was not
Nothing
the
like
case. I was
not
just trying
even
to
yeah.
hype a
Like
person
yeah.
up, you know, and yeah, like I've shot with women that I've like messed around with, but
Mm,
when we were shooting, it was I kept it professional. Like
professional.
it's
Yeah.
like yeah, like you can't fuck around, man.
No,
Like because
yeah.
all
No,
it
you
takes is
can't,
one
man.
person to
Oh, that
have a bad
shit's
experience
done.
with you, and it's
Yeah.
game over. You know, it's like you, it's like a it's like a balance, and that's kind of I
Uh,
think that's one of the things too that kind of has kept me a little bit like.
yeah, you gotta move cities, man. If you fucking
I
intend to do
mean, well,
some
don't do
shit, you know,
stupid shit.
right?
You know, don't do stupid shit. Don't fucking fuck up the game for people that are actually trying to
Yeah,
create. You know,
yeah,
because unfortunately, like probably I would say most, if not all, the models. I mean, you kind of have to have that in the back of your mind, like you know, it's like this person weird, like
yeah,
you know, you have to keep that like that safety aspect in mind. But I know for sure there's a bunch of models that won't work with guys because of like the
yeah,
experiences they've had and
yeah.
shit, and it kind of sucks, you know.
Well,
Like
I think that you know, like you know, most of the like even when I'm working with a new model, uh, you know, most of the time, I always I send my IG right away, you know, because my IG is just you know, it's just my photography. I don't really post a lot of like you know, personal
yeah,
shit
same.
on there. You know, I don't really do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, every now and then, you know, like a story or some shit, but nothing like I you know,
Yeah.
personal, my
No,
personal
you don't got
life.
family parties and all
Yeah,
that shit. Yeah.
yeah, like my personal life is it's my personal stuff, and you know, but you know, I always send them that just you know, so they can get an idea that you know, I am a working professional
Mm-hmm.
photographer, and not you know, like because if you go into their IGs and it's just like and you know, two pictures, one of them is a selfie and the other one is like
Yeah.
of their car or some shit, you know, and then
Yeah.
they're trying to set up a shoot with you, then you know, that's I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably a red flag
For sure.
to first one. You know.
And then like one of the things about the community is like for the most part people are cool, so like you could always ask around too, specifically
Yeah,
for models. Like you know, you could, if you want to work with somebody or somebody hits you up and you might be interested in working with them, then hit up some of the models that they've worked with, you know,
yeah,
or
yeah,
like mutual people that you guys might know, and just to see like you know like where the vibe at, or bring somebody, or you know, don't be afraid to you know, like to worry about your personal safety, even if you know the person, like you know, like
yeah,
it's always better to be like prepared and kind of like have everything kind of like in mind, and
Yeah.
risk going through some random shit or having some bad situation.
Because even as like a photographer myself, I've been in situations where it's vice versa, and you also want to be safe as well, because it was like an instance where like they hit me up and they wanted to do like a shoot, and they gave me the location, and it's like it was a little sketchy, but I said, all right, fuck it, I'll bite the dust. And I asked, one of my friends. I'm always like, try to have someone who give me a hand with the lights and
Hmm.
all that. And we go out, and it's just like this fucking sketchy business. It's a group, and they're talking about, oh, we want to do this, but it's just that vibe, you have all your expensive shit, because
Yeah.
I mean, cameras, lenses are not fucking are not cheap, and you're like, oh
Uh,
fuck, because it's happened to me before, man. I've gotten my shit stolen,
oh really?
yeah, man, and lost like fucking thousands of dollars on it, and
Yeah.
it's like fuck. Which hurt the most from that was not the gear, but like I still had unedited photos for a client,
Oh bro.
and I had to, and it was a wedding. That's why I stopped shooting weddings. That was like at the beginning when I was trying to
Fuck.
figure out how to make money.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, all right, fucking, this is probably not it.
Yeah.
Uh, and I mean, it sucks, dude. You work hard
Hmm.
to buy your shit. Some you save up to buy something, and then someone's just gonna fucking
Yeah.
up and take it from you, or uh, worse, fucking probably hurt you for the shit.
Yeah.
It's like fucking, and then they're like, fuck, here, take it. I mean,
Yeah.
what else can you do? You know?
Yeah, I've always made that kind of joke at the meetups. Like if they wanted to come up on a gang of shit on us, like they would like if
Yeah,
a group of like 5 to 10 fools with straps came up and
yeah,
they would jack everybody. They would fucking come up
yeah.
like all the shit that we take out there.
When that happened, it was actually it was at one of the after one of the TFTIs. They broke into my ride, and they fucking
Oh
we went to yeah we went to go like get something to grub,
man, yeah,
and came back out, fucking window was smashed, and fucking took
that's
the whole
fucked up.
shit, man.
Wouldn't
I
it be
was like,
fucked up if
fuck.
like somebody that one of the people that you were with, were like,
Oh
yo, we're
my
with these
god.
people, like you should come jack this shit.
Yeah,
All you
man,
should have
I
in this
fuck.
car.
I hope not, man, because
That would
I'll
fucking suck.
fucking I'll never forgive that fucker.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it was it's I think it's safety. It's
Yeah.
always it's both ways. You
Yeah,
know.
for sure. Like you have to. Yeah, imagine you get set up like meet me here, and then they meet you with
Fuck,
5 dudes and shit, and
dude,
beat your ass
man,
and
beat
take
your
your shit
fucking
back.
ass, take your shit, and leave you
Yeah,
walking, even your
fucking
car.
take your
Like
yeah.
fuck,
That would suck.
like
Yeah.
you just got not even a phone or anything.
But overall, I mean, like the LA photography community is pretty dope.
Oh
Like I've
yeah,
met a bunch of dope people. I
oh
met a
yeah,
bunch
man.
of like
Yeah,
uh amazing
yeah,
artists.
yeah.
People that are down as fuck that are willing to talk to you about like working shit out when it comes to photography or art or whatever. Um, there's a lot of shitty people, but there's a lot of dope people
Yeah.
in the world too.
Oh yeah, man.
And
I've met like, I met you there. I met a lot of people that I still talk to. Have actually become very uh close friends. I
yeah,
consider you a close, even though we don't
yeah,
really, but we're always shoot each other. Hey, how you been? How
yeah,
we shoot the shit from there, and let's meet up one of these days. But when we were more active that
yeah.
time, I mean, we kind of basically see each other every fucking week.
Yeah, it's cool. I
There
miss
was
that
always
shit,
something
man.
going on. I made a lot of good friends uh, through all
For
that
sure.
community.
Hmm.
Good people, good artists, um, and at the same time, like whatever you help each other out with whatever you can, whether it's from like even uh from knowledge to like gear, you know, or things like that, that you can, whatever you can help with. I'm always open to help another
sure.
fellow artist out, man. Like when Alper, he got into film,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to learn how to develop the whole film thing. And you know, like I said, everything that I had to like learn it on my own, and kind of like on hands and making mistakes and all that shit.
For sure.
And I was like, yeah, dude, fucking, you know, come through and I'll show you how to fucking do everything. And you know, he was, after that, he was like, man, I can do this shit on my own. Like, well, that's good. That was the whole point.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
I can't, you know, I'm not gonna be here all the time.
No, yeah, and I can vouch for that statement because you know, you hooked me up with the set of lights too. I don't know if you
Oh
remember
yeah.
the old school fucking
Yeah, you still
light
have
setup.
it?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh,
I have it.
shit,
I use it.
man.
Like I ran out of space and shit. Like so you know how I used to be able to clear out my whole living room. Like my dad has all kinds of shit there, so I haven't really been able to use them. They've just been chilling right there. But
Yeah,
vouching for you, like yeah, you were like fuck it. You
yeah,
need these
man. I
lights.
mean,
Like at the time, I had no flat, nothing.
yeah.
You know, I didn't even have one of those fucking battery power flashes. You know, and you were just like, wow, this fucking
It's
set in
set
my
up,
car that
yeah.
it's just been in here. If you want to fucking check it out or whatever.
Yeah. It was that setup, man. It was like, I met this. This is like how deep in like the roots go into like when you're in like the photography community. This is a short little story. I met this old man through a friend that had a studio, and he would sell him gear,
Mhm.
and that's how I met him. And then I told him like, hey man, you know, what do you got? And you know, most of my gear I was able to get through him, and he was really cool, man, because he would let me, he would give it to me even in payments. You know, like he would be like, yeah, take the lens, and you know, just pay me and payments and stuff. And that was really fucking, I mean, who's gonna, you know, let a fucking a $600 $700 lens just like, yeah, take it.
Not most people.
Yeah, right. And turns out he's an old dude, old school photographer. And his thing was that I used to like go over to his place, and like when he had new gear, and he always call me like, hey, I have this. And I'm like, all right, I'll be right over, because you know how it is, man. You got gear, like I'll be right over.
Check that shit out. Huh?
So I'd go over and I would, cut the shit with him, and we would chop it up. And his thing was actually, he used to do prints, do huge prints. And he's like, yeah, man, I used to do big prints for this studio. And he's like, I remember doing this big prints for oh man, there was that one dude. He used to do some prints for Warhol.
Oh, Andy Warhol?
Yeah, Andy Warhol, like that. Fucking, he used to do photography, and he said that he used to come. He's like, man, he was very picky with this shit, because he used to come in and like look at the print and all that, and see if, like, the negatives and all that, and then he would run, because he said he would run big prints for him.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he didn't even know it was that, because he didn't even speak English, but he's really good with prints.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it was this guy. He used to decía, tenía mucho de eso como de sopas.
Lata de Campbell soup.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
I was like, and I was like, and I googled like, Andy Warhol. I'm like, is this guy? Like, yeah, that was him.
One of the
Like,
biggest
he
pop,
used to
pop art artists in the world.
Yeah, right. And he was like, yeah, that's him with the hair and the glasses.
Yeah.
He's like, that medio, like,
He was like an like you call it like eccentric.
Yeah.
Like those guys.
Yeah.
Like,
he was, cause he's an older dude, and he's like, man, he's been doing photography since, it's like, man, since like 70s and fucking 80s all the way 90s.
Yeah.
And he's like, I stopped when they did when digital came along.
Yeah. A lot of people dropped off. They didn't want to make that transition to digital.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's same like now. A lot of people don't want to make the transition to the mirrorless. But I at first, I was those like, I like my mirrorless camera, the fucking Canon all the way. I still do,
Yeah.
but Alper got me into the Fuji cameras and the mirrorless. Man, those fucking things do amazing fucking work, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, I've shot some of the best shit that I've shot with that camera. It's so convenient, it's small, and I like it that they still have that vintage film look to it.
Yeah.
So
It looks like
that's
those look really old school. Like
yeah,
those cameras, they look like the old school, like the 70s. Like I have a Canon A1, and they
yeah.
have like that kind of like that vibe of like a old school.
Yeah, I think that's
Like
why it works out for him for because he does a lot of the street photography,
yeah.
and with street you got to be sometimes very discreet, kind of
Mhm.
like a site,
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit
yeah,
of like you're gonna like if you're gonna shoot the type of work that he gets,
yeah,
you're gonna get into confrontations, into shit,
yeah,
because you're
yeah,
but
so
it's like his
yeah,
work. It's like I was telling him, man, his work speaks for itself,
yeah,
man. Like I consider him like I was saying that he shoots like National Geographic
yeah, the National
type
Geographic.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
I was
sure.
just watching that episode like a day ago. I was like, oh man, that's it was good. It was a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you don't want. I used to like. I used to do my street photography with my Canon. I used the Canon 5 D Mark III,
Mhm.
and I use big fucking lenses, for it. And when I would try to do like street photography, I mean, it's first of all, it's like heavy, and then you got this big ass lens. It's so noticeable. Like, I mean, people are gonna notice, and it looks expensive,
Yeah.
And you definitely don't want to be. I tried it once. You definitely don't want to be shooting that big ass camera, taking it out, trying to shoot street photography like on the blue line, going towards Compton. They'll stop you real quick if you're trying to get a photo. They'll
Yeah,
run up on you.
for sure, man. Can't fucking take out the beast in the ghetto hoods and shit.
Oh
Fucking
man.
people on drugs and shit. Like shit. Yeah. So we've been kind of going for a little bit. So before we get off, where can people find your work?
You can find it on IG. I changed it now. It's underscore views. So it's underscore views underscore. And you can check out some of my work there. There's a link to my actual portfolio. If you want to see like the uncensored photos, IG. And a book coming out, and I'm gonna be having that. I'm gonna make sure to bring you a copy, man, and so you can, maybe we'll do another one just for when it's all done,
Yeah.
So yeah, man, you can catch my work there, and thanks for having me, man. I mean, it's been fun. It's
For
fun.
sure. And your website, you have a website. Like,
Yeah, my website is
I'll
linked.
put it up, but you wanna say it out for the people that are listening just through the audio.
Yeah, it's a www.diegosanchezphotography.com. No, .portfolio.com. You can just find it on the on my
It's linked on your bio.
linked on my
and then
bio.
I'll put that on. I'll have the
Yeah.
links to your page and to your website, and I'll throw them up on the screen for the people watching through video. But yeah, man, it was really dope having you.
Thanks for having me, man. It's just fun.
It had been a minute. I'm definitely down to like do a episode number 2 when you drop your book.
Yeah.
Totally down. For sure. Thanks for coming
for
through.
sure,
And
man.
I will have been putting up some of your work for the people watching on video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, peace out.
Peace.
Pacing in my studio, just coming up with dapper bars to spit in crucial situations when I play the rapper's part. Heard I got a denim heart and lyricism in my jeans. Cut a track down, leave it bald head like Mr. Clean. Spit it mean, a record fiend. I school you niggas, call me Dean. I'm always specious, never seen. Stay on the chase for minty green. It's local how these niggas say they ballin', but they broke though.